My stomach twisted as I stepped into my new classroom. The space was meant for 50, maybe 60 students at most, but already more than 100 bodies squeezed themselves onto desks and chairs. The air was thick with heat, sweat, and the sour smell of too many people pressed too close. A fight had already broken out near the back. Two boys clawed at each other over a broken chair, their shouts mixing with the laughter of those egging them on. Another group had pushed 3 desks together to play cards. Someone else was braiding hair. No one looked remotely ready to learn. I hovered at the door, clutching my bag, scanning for a safe place to sit. My eyes landed on a girl seated alone at the corner desk. She had a straight back, neat braids, and an expression that carried both intelligence and distance. I gathered my courage and walked over. "Hi," I said quietly. "Can I sit here?" Her eyes flicked up, cool and dismissive. "Sorry, seat's taken." I froze, stung. I looked at the empty chair, then back at the girl. "But..." "I said it's taken." She returned her gaze to the notebook in front of her, shutting me out completely. Heat rushed to my cheeks. I forced a small nod and turned away, pretending not to care, though inside I felt the sting of rejection bite deep. I found another chair wedged between 2 noisy boys and sat there instead, hugging my bag tightly to my chest. The teacher entered moments later, a thin man with a tired face and chalk dust clinging to his sleeves. He tried to call the class to order, but his voice was swallowed by the chaos. Students shouted over him, mocking his instructions, tossing paper across the room. My heart sank. This isn't a classroom, it's a war zone. As the teacher scrawled something meaningless on the board, I risked another glance at the corner girl. She sat calmly, writing, unbothered by the noise, her focus unshaken. My chest tightened with both admiration and envy. How does she stay so composed? The girl must have felt my gaze because she looked up again. For a split second, our eyes locked. I opened my mouth to try again, but her look was sharp enough to cut stone. She turned away before I could speak. The hours dragged. I scribbled half-hearted notes, but most of the lesson never reached my ears. My mind wandered to my mother's fragile health, to Chica waiting at home, to the whispers about remolding. Then the bell rang for break. Relief flooded the room as students rushed out in a stampede. I stayed behind, gathering my things slowly. The corner girl rose too, slipping her notebook into a worn leather satchel. As she passed my desk, her scent, something faintly floral, oddly out of place in the sweaty classroom, lingered for a moment. I hesitated, then blurted, "Hey, wait." She stopped, turned halfway, her face unreadable. "What's your name?" I asked, forcing a smile. Her eyes narrowed slightly, as though weighing whether to answer. Finally, she said, "Lala." And then she was gone, walking out without another word. I sat back down, whispering the name to myself. "Lala!" It felt strange on my tongue, like a secret waiting to be unraveled. Outside, the break time chaos raged, students shouting and laughing in the dusty yard. But I remained seated, staring at the door where Lala had disappeared, my heart unsettled. I didn't know it yet, but Lala's path and mine were about to twist together in ways neither of us could imagine.